Alright, I got the 2011 Kia Optima with a bad multi-function switch. My fog light stopped working except for when you turn on the right turn signal. So we're going to disconnect the negative side of the battery, pull all this apart to get to it. And a 3/8 socket or a wrench will take care of that right there and pop that negative off so you don't have an airbag off in your face. Now if you can see these holes here, it's 3 of them. One here, one across from it on the other side, and one here underneath. That will release your airbag. You push which I have a scratch-all tool. You push that in there and feel around, and it'll release it. You'll feel it release, and you can unplug the airbags. I'll show you that step. Alright, now this just pulls out. You can flip it over, unhook your horn, take this little tab right here off, get access to your wires. Alright, get your wires out. You'll see these little, and they're color coded for when you go to put it back. Blue on one side there, and you got the yellow there. And you just pop this little orange thing up. You don't want to break it, so just pull it up easy, and then that'll pop up. There you go. There's one, and then there you go. There's the other. And your airbag, you can set that over to the side. And there's where you're going to use your 21mm. I like to unplug this right here and get that out of the way. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set up for the impact to loosen this up where I can get the steering wheel off. And I've already made an index mark on it, keeping that straight with the wheel straight. You can see here I loosened it up and just left the nut on there because you can kind of get behind here and bang up on this with your hands instead of using a steering wheel puller. But it's a good idea to leave the nut on there so it doesn't come flying off in your face. Then that'll come right on off. And you set that to the side. Then you take this right here, your Phillips screwdriver, your number 2 Phillips, pull that off, and it's one on the bottom there. Just flip that down, you'll see access to that. And just stick you a little small screwdriver in between here and pry those two apart, and it'll give you access to the switch. So I'll show you that. Alright, I got the screws out. Now if you just can get something in there and pop that apart without marking it up. There you go. And you can work this one out to get it out of your way. Set that to the side. And pull your steering wheel up and down. You got access. And you'll want to remove your clock spring here. It's got little tabs on it. It's 3 of them. One right there on the top and one on each side. Just kind of release those, and you can pull this off and just hang it down out of your way. See, I didn't even disconnect the cables or anything. I just pull them down out of the way. Then, since I'm only replacing the multi-function switch, the turn signal switch, I'm going to leave this one wired up, but push the screwdriver in right here, and you can disconnect it and pull that out of the way and leave it hanging. Then take your Phillips screwdriver, pull this and this screw out, and this switch assembly will come off, and there's one wire connection on the back you can unplug, and then you go ahead and do your reverse operation. Your switch has been replaced. There you can see I've disconnected the washer wiper switch, and you can see I've disconnected the switch and left the cable hooked up to it and just moved it out of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and pull these screws and disconnect this one, and I will unplug this cable on the back here. As you can see, the switches have been removed. There's the old switch, and here's the new one. courtesy of eBay. I'm going to put this back together. There we have the wiper switch back inserted, and the tab is locked. The screw holes are lined up, so I'm going to put the screws back in this now and go ahead and plug this connection back up to the new multifunction switch. This snaps back in there. There we go. The clock spring has been snapped back in. All the tabs are locked on it. Go ahead and slide your housing back over it and snap that back together. Then you can go ahead and put these screws back in, the one in the bottom down here. And I have all the screws replaced. Don't need to over tighten those. And next is to put the steering wheel back on and to reconnect the airbags and horn and your stereo function cable. Now that has been reinstalled, and then just simply hook up your connections here to the airbag and just push that back in. It will lock itself in place. Don't forget your horn wire. Now you can see that's back in, goes in a lot easier than it comes out. It's hard to get your punch in there to release those little tabs to let it come out. Now the only thing left to do is go back and connect the battery back up. So let's go do that. Alright, we're back in business. You can see there we have my fog light indicator saying they're on. And before it would only come on when I used the right turn signal, so let's go check those out. Now once you disconnect your battery, you will have to go back in and reset all your radio stations that you had programmed. So that's a little setback. And you can see we got fog lights.